Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you happen to be listening to us right now. We are overjoyed to have you with us today for this particular conversation with a great American, a great human, a great man. We're going to get to that in a second. I want to tell you a little bit about KSA, Kimbro Success Academy. We at KSA believe in the intrinsic right of people of color to launch, leverage, and leave a legacy of wealth for generations to come. We work towards that goal by teaching, training, and coaching. We teach the 4 M's of mindset, mastery, methodology, and money, with the fourth M, money, being the mastery of the first 3 M's to help you achieve your individual savings, investing, entrepreneurship, and personal success goals. With that said, today we have the pleasure of meeting somebody who embodies KSA's theme of don't stop, don't quit. Chaplain, U.S. Army Colonel, Dr. Khallid Shabazz. We could talk about his 2 PhDs or his 4 master's degrees or any of the other educational accolades he's achieved over the past 25 plus years. But to start there, would miss the message of his personal success journey. I suspect, though, his journey has not yet peaked. He suffered abuse as a child. He was an at-risk teen. He later enlisted in the U.S. Army in the field artillery, shooting the big guns. And due to continued baggage of his past, he received 2 Article 15s. For those who don't know what Article 15s are, that's a form of non-judicial punishment in the military. Definitely not the desired start of a brilliant military career. During his struggles and search for his purpose, he was directed to the Army Chaplain's Corps, and through his grit, persistence, and don't stop, don't quit attitude, rose to become the first and highest ranking Muslim chaplain in the U.S. Army. Please join us in welcoming Chaplain Colonel Dr. Khallid Shabazz to this conversation. We at KSA and all of you as listeners, thank you for your time, your wisdom, and the pearls you're going to drop. Folks, get your paper and pencil ready for the notes. Let's go. Let's bring it.
Welcome.
That fired me up. You must have been talking about somebody else.
It's that guy behind you. It's the guy right behind you, Chaplain.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Listen, I'm so enjoyed to be here. Honestly, usually when I hear somebody talk about me, it brings me to tears because, as you said, my life started off in a mess. It began in a bedroom, 10 years old, being molested by a family friend. After that happened, because of the molestation, this extroverted kid went inside of himself, shut off the world, and didn't really want to talk to anybody. Went to special education in the 8th grade, failed the 9th grade, failed the 12th grade, and had to walk in summer school. Because I had this big body that God gave me, 6'5", 275 pounds of man. Because I got this big body, of course, I was allowed to go to college and play a little ball. But when I was in college, because of the molestation, I was still struggling inside of myself. And what people don't understand, I was drinking myself to sleep at night. And because of the molestation, anybody that I would see, because I was struggling with my manhood, I didn't know whether I was a damn man or a woman. Right. Everybody I saw that looked at me, I just wanted to beat them up, right? And so I was constantly fighting, constantly in conflict, because I was in conflict with myself. So it came to a head one night. People were tired of me bullying them, and I got in a fight. I was shot in the back, beat with a shovel, and almost lost my life. They airlifted me out to what we call Tyler Medical Center. You would think an intelligent person at that time would come to his senses and say, okay, I need to change my life. But because we have this intractable relationship with dysfunction in our community, I saw the young man 6 months later. And so everybody was telling me, hey, be a man, you got to get him back. And so, of course, we all have some friends from across the tracks. So I had a friend that gave me a sawed-off shotgun and a .45, and my mission was to go and kill this kid, right? Because I thought that's what manhood was. Yeah. But as God would have it, man, this is gonna get tough for me, okay? So
we got you.
I had one guy who said to me, hey, man, you're gonna let your mother down. You're gonna let your mother down, and that's all the person in my life that I loved the most was my mother, and I didn't want to let her down.
Yes.
So I can't say that I didn't fight the kid. I got a crowbar and I almost beat the kid to death, but I didn't shoot him and I didn't kill him, which spared my life. Yes. And so I went to jail for a couple of weeks. After I was let out of jail, I was in the courtroom and the lady was calling me all kind of names, thug, excrement. She called me the worst scum in the world. And she said, "Do you have anything to say for yourself?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. You know, this guy shot me. I was defending myself." What's interesting about that, when you're talking about the justice system, she called these people up and she said, "Is that true? Why didn't you guys tell me? Why didn't you guys tell me that?" And so, as God would have it, they let me go that day. So I went back to Alexandria, Louisiana. I worked as a janitor and a cashier. And I decided, hey, listen, I want to come to the United States Army. I had a fiance and 2 kids up to that point. And I said, I want to come to the United States Army to clean up my life. Well, that was a great idea, but I still hadn't dealt with the molestation. I hadn't dealt with the trauma. I hadn't dealt with the drinking. So from 1991 to 1992, wasn't even a year. I had 2 Article 15s and was being chaptered out of the military. Well, the story doesn't stop there. I was doing extra duty, you know, and an hour away from suicide. I had already had a plan since I was a horrible father, a deceitful husband, and a drunk. I said, well, you know, these people would be better without me.
Right.
And so I decided to end my life. And again, God intervened. He sent this man and he said, hey, young man, I want to talk to you. And I said, I don't really want to talk to anybody. I just want to finish my work and go home and do what I want to do. And this guy, I want you guys to hear this. This is the power of words. He said 5 words that absolutely changed my life. I'm 27 years old.
Okay.
He said, I believe in you. Listen.
Oh, man.
I believe in you.
Amen. Yes.
5 simple words. I believe in you. Yes. And because he believed in me that day, I decided I was going to believe in myself and I was going to dedicate myself to make sure this man was proud of me. You know, one thing that I believe about God, man, God sends people into your life at that exact moment when you think that it's over for you. He sends them at the right time because he needs you to listen. The relationship with this man helped me believe in myself. And I was in what we call the field in the military. I was in the field getting a little light discrimination because at this time I had changed my religion and changed my name and all this kind of stuff. And they were saying, oh, you must be joining on to the enemy or some foolishness at the time. And so I see the chaplain out in the distance. And I got to be honest with you. I say, if there is a God, please don't send the chaplain over to talk to me. I don't want to talk to this guy. I got enough problems. But as God would have it, the chaplain came over and talked to me, brother and sisters, and he ministered to me for an hour. He ministered to me for an hour, not on God, but on self-confidence and belief in yourself.
Amen.
And he said something to me. I have never received revelation. God has never spoken to me. But this man said something to me that I know and I believe it was from God. He said, why don't you become a chaplain to help people just like you? And I'm telling you, the lights went off, the window shut, everything opened up in my life. And I knew right then what my purpose was. And so from that day, I tell you, when you talked in the beginning, I dedicated myself to not only helping other human beings, but I dedicated myself to education. And from 25 straight years, I've been in school. And so that's where you have the 2 doctorate degrees, the 4 master's degrees. And oh, by the way, I just graduated from a fellowship in War College. Woo!
All right, now Air War College.
Yes, he will.
Not many people get picked up for Air War College from the chaplain score. So that's also a very big achievement right there.
Yes.
Absolutely. Getting to the War College is like winning the lottery. And let me throw something on you. because it's never happened in history, for a Muslim chaplain to get to war college is like winning the lottery 3 times in a row.
All right now. All right now.
You see what I'm saying? But
right.
that is a product of changing your thinking to change to God's mindset and helping other human beings, paying it forward, and God paid it back to me. Won't he do it?
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Every time.
I just want to say, I mean, I'm sure others have shared with you, is that I thank God that you were relieved of what you went through as a child. And if no one said, I'm sorry to you, I want to tell you, I'm sorry that you went through that, because I know what that feels like. Yes. And I want you to know that God is so amazing, because, I know you're a person of faith, and you know the word from both the Quran and the Holy Bible. Right. In Job 42:10, it says, God will restore the years that the locust has taken. And that's exactly what he did for you. Yes. What the enemy tried to do, he turned it around, and now he's made you this powerful vehicle of light to bring forth, change to humanity. And one of our team members, Harriet, she just posted that how, young men needs to hear what you just shared. No, and it's so important that we understand and that we share with, as part of, the grain of who we are, is to help people to understand that though you went through what you went through, you don't become that. You get to choose. You get to create what it is that you want for your future, because we are co-creators in Christ, right? We every single day we wake up, we have an opportunity to create what it is that we want the day to look like. And so I love what you're doing. I love what where you've come from, and you almost brought me to tears. This is not a sermonic event, but it could have we could have had an altar call had we had a huge audience here, and bring people to a healing place. But no matter what we do, once we're ingrained in the love of God, we personify that. We are Christ in culture, and we're able to meet and heal people, because there's so many people that has been through what you've been through that are still struggling. They're still, they might be 50, 60, 70 years old, but still that 10-year-old that's hurt and have gone through trauma and haven't been delivered from such an experience. And so I thank you so very much for what you're doing and what you've grown through. Really and truly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate your words so much. And I got to tell you, and that's why I tell the story, because a lot of men and a lot of women are hiding that pain because they think it makes them less of a human being. I came to this realization as a 31-year-old and kind of hiding from my destiny and hiding from my purpose, had gained 40 pounds, trying to be what everybody else wanted to do, because I was still dealing with this pain. And I said, I need to release this stuff. And I was, I'm a treadmill gym guy, and I was doing my little morning sermons to Facebook. And I said, I was talking about no weapon should be formed against the righteous. And then something came to me, and it said, it's not that the weapon won't be formed, but God has already fought the battle. So release that bull crap and tell the people your story. You can transform human lives by telling your story. And I've been telling this story for 11 years to anybody who would listen. And I got to tell you, not just you, but I'm in the airport sometimes, or I'm on the base sometimes. I have grown men that come and cry in my arms and say, how did you get the courage to tell people you're molested? You're a big old physical guy. Don't you think people are going to look at you strange? I said, brother, I wasn't just molested. I grew up with women, and I was molested. I didn't even know if I was a man or a woman.
Right.
I didn't know what I was. So I got to tell the people that, because people are struggling with that. And if they don't release that, you can never be who God wants you to be.
Amen. Amen, brother. And like I said, that's why your story is so important. When we found you, when I saw about you, you'd posted something on LinkedIn at the time, and so you were talking. We're going to get to that too here. So, man, this story is powerful, and I think we could probably do this conversation for like 5 hours. 5 hours, because like I said, the same thing as you. We want to positively influence people. We want to help them out and give them the lessons. And your life story is one of power, and it's about don't stop, don't quit. Because that's one of the big things that we coach is that part about don't stop, don't quit. You mentioned in the article that you're like a chaplain life coach.
Yes.
That you're telling folks to not quit. Now, and that's a big piece here because, our goal in KSA is to help people on their personal success journey. It's not just about money. It's different. Whatever personal success is for people, that's what we want to help them achieve. And your story is one that I think is very enlightening and very helpful to those people. So as we talk about this, John Maxwell, he's one of our success mentors. He's a renowned leadership coach, but he said, it's not what happens to you, but what happens in you. So in your life story that you presented to us right now, can you tell us, you've told us what happened to you, tell us what happened in you.
Well, what happened in me, brothers and sisters, is somebody external said they believe in me. So internally, I began to believe in myself. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I just knew why I had to get there. Because at the end of the day, I did a podcast yesterday, and the sister asked me, did I have any concluding thoughts? I said, yeah, I got some concluding thoughts. My biggest thought is, I don't want my children to have a childhood that they have to recover from. I'm going to say that again.
Say it again.
I don't want my children to have a childhood they got to recover from. So that means I got to get my shiznick together, right? I need to heal myself by going out and healing others so my children can see a real model, not a role model, but a real model in their home of a father who is strong, who is educated, and who is dedicated to life principles, so they'll have an opportunity to succeed in this world. So you're talking about not quitting and what happened inside of you. That's what happened inside of me. I saw outside of me a man who came in who believed in me, and then I saw outside of me my children who were going to grow up in a dysfunctional environment because I was dysfunctional, their mother was dysfunctional, and I said to myself inwardly, I have to change this. I can't wait on somebody else to do it for me.
Yes. That's such a great message right there. Real model, not role model. Real model, not role model. So the change that you made was a real change. You saw where you needed to do better for those who depended on you. And you made that real change in you, not just to put on the facade of doing the right thing, but you made a physical change to do the right thing inside of you and to present that to your children. So that is so powerful what you said right there, because that's part of what this whole thing is. We're talking about legacy. We're talking about legacy wealth, but legacy wealth, it's financial, it's informational. That legacy wealth that you are passing down to your children right now, that's invaluable. That is invaluable. And man, I'm taking all kind of notes here. I apologize if I look off. Man, you were just giving so much stuff here, and we're writing it, and our team is just making notes here back and forth all together. This is fantastic, and this story is one that does need to be told. We hope that to everybody who's hearing this right now, that you do reach out, and we'll give you at the end. We'll tell you how to reach out to us, and you'll be able to reach out to the chaplain through his through his social media platforms as well. But please you're not alone. Look, he cares about you.
That's right.
He believes in you.
Absolutely.
We believe in you. We believe in what God has put in you, what your God has put in you. We believe that, and we want to help you achieve that. And man, this is just an amazing message right here. I'm going to zip up a little bit, Joanne.
Absolutely. I'm in awe, and I feel like it's hard we had a set course of direction in how we were going to do this, but you kind of like threw us for kind of flipped us around a little bit. And so I'm trying to recover from just your amazing testimony and your amazing heart. And, one of the things that I clearly appreciate and identify about you is your love for humanity, your love for people. And that is really what gets people to move. When they can see your authenticity, they can see that, you know what, just like that chaplain spoke to you and he was authentic to you and sharing the love of God to say, I believe in you, then you know what, now you're able to now move that forward. You're able to give that forward, and people automatically surrender to, without any hesitation. I was watching one of your videos where you spoke about I don't know if it was colonel or so forth, but your officers in the army, where they wouldn't speak to you for 9-10 months because they had this perceived notion of you because of your belief system. And you know, and you were able to win them over without going over above and beyond to you know, most people would try to, you know, we say kiss tail just to get acceptance, but you just continue to be you, continue to be the love that you personified. And so I just want to I want to thank you for that, but I also want to I'm really curious to know, what was that conversation like when you said that how he came and he embraced you after 9 months, he came and embraced you and apologized. I would love to hear, like, you know, what that conversation was like and how you've been able to transform even his life. With that very instant, there was a transformation that happened.
Yeah, it was a transformation because I'm just coming back to active duty as a chaplain, and you know, like he said, I'm the first to do it, so it's no trail for me. So all I knew was I had a Christian mother who taught me how to love. I had a mother who taught me how to be uplift people. I had a mother who taught me that no matter what the person's skin tone, sexuality, or who they are, give them the love of God. So I walk into this man's office. I'm sincerely excited, and I reach out to my hand to him, and he says, he wouldn't shake my hand, and he says, we got some problems with your religion and how you guys treat women. Have a nice day. And he wouldn't speak to me for 9 months, you know. But one thing about a man or a woman on a mission, I didn't care. I went out and loved the troops. I was out there playing basketball with them, counseling them, lifting weights with them, crying with them, loving on them. And I got to tell you, after 9 months, you have a battalion of about 1,000 people. And this guy comes out and he said, I have wronged one of my officers. He's a phenomenal man. And he hugged me in tears.
Wow.
In tears.
Yes.
And said, listen, I love you. And from that moment, this Catholic, he had a Muslim praying at his Sunday dinner every Sunday. You understand? So that's the power, not only of love, but confidence in love, right? It's not kissing backside. You doing God's work, and God's work is forever and enduring. And therefore, you're teaching those people who don't know what real love is to love. I had another incident, sister. You know, people think as you go up in rank that this stuff doesn't happen. It actually it happens more. So probably about 3 or 4 years ago, one of my high-ranking commanding officers, he would shake everybody's hand in the room but mine. And he would look at my face and smirk, right? And I would smirk right back. And he wouldn't say anything to me. I said, I love you, sir. And walk out of the room. And so after 5 months, one of our officers committed suicide. Guess who had to do the funeral service? Me, right? Because I was the chaplain there. I did the funeral service. And of course, with my background, I was able to use the Bible in the service. And he came to me in front of everybody. Same story. Hugged me, cried in front of everybody and said, I'm glad you're on our team. And all I got to do every time is say, praise God. Because at the end of the day, if you have confidence in love, you'll teach people how to love, not by your mouth. That's easy.
Yes.
But through sometimes being mistreated, maligned, and even lied upon, that you'll teach people how to love.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes, yes.
That goes to one of the things that you said, that how for the 3 A's to a successful relationship, you said it's affirmation, acknowledgement, and appreciation. And I was going to ask the question, does that just relate to your wife, Rhonda? But I'm guessing that how this relates to every relationship in your life,
Yes.
because you'll get the same benefits.
No, without question. I think as human beings, we have been taught to not be intimate with people, right? And so for me, especially with men, right? Because we're closed off. They told us not to cry, told us to be tough. I would go in and say, man, you know, I just really appreciate how smart you are. I just really appreciate how you did that project. I am never critical of people, right? Because I understand, I wrote a book on self-esteem. I understand the principle of being critical to people. What I do is I appreciate them, I acknowledge them, and I accentuate that love into them because they need that. And so I use that in every relationship, even in my relationships with my sisters. I accentuate them, I acknowledge them, and I appreciate them. You know why? Because they need a strong man in their life who is, you know, I had so many memories. This got me in trouble, by the way. So we're at this ceremony, and this sister, she's getting ready to PCS, United Military. So it's a permanent change of station. And so she is up there, and she's giving her speech, and she says, I have never had a man in my life who just cared for me and was not trying to sleep with me. You are my everything. Now I was saying, I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's great. My wife was like,
No.
All right, that's a bit much, brother. So sometimes that gets me in a little trouble.
Right.
Yes. So I'm going back. So in the movie Avatar, right? There was that whole thing with the characters there. I see you. It just, while you were saying this, I was just thinking back to that I see you thing that they talked about there. The I see you, you know, when the other chaplain had spoken to you about I see you, just how important that is for our sisters and our brothers, though. And man, I can go on all day about that part. But it is very important that we as men also provide that same caring, that same empathy to our young men. Yes. It's very important that we do that, and you're right. And we don't, and you are an excellent vessel to do that with because of your size. I mean, there's a reason why God made you what you are. You know, and at this point in your life, this is just me. Whatever. I believe that you are doing God's work, and you are doing this through the body, through everything, and through the experience that He gave you, because He knew that you'd be able to deal with this, and that you'd be able to translate it to something on the distant end. And everybody that you've touched along the way. I just think back to that Protestant chaplain that talked to you, right? How much does he know about your life now? The chaplain that addressed you for that hour.
Well, I don't think he knows much about my life. I've been trying to find him. I think he retired as a lieutenant colonel. I think he was disgruntled or whatever, you know, but I learned a lot from that. You know, he probably is disgruntled about his not receiving promotion to colonel, but he doesn't know the thousands of lives that I changed because of him, right? He's just looking at his own personal situation. So for me, I've been trying to find him to try to let him know the good news, but I haven't been able to find him. So I don't know where he is.
Right. So that's the big part of the story, right? So we don't know, for everybody out there that's listening to this thing right now, you don't know who you're going to affect or by the actions that you take. You don't know what positive actions those are going to have down the road. It may be with that person that you spoke to that day, that person who may have been, as the chaplain was, who was contemplating suicide or doing harm to themselves or others. You don't know that. That kind word that you give them, that uplifting words that you give them, can change many lives down the road. So that's where we just suggest that you do that. That you do that kind word. It costs nothing. It costs
absolutely
nothing. You gotta remove yourself out of the process, right? So, you know, one of the things that I do, if you guys look at all my videos, all the videos I got on this shirt that say Colonel or Dr. Shabazz, and people externally say, oh my God, he's so arrogant. He's so conceited. He's so self-focused. No, I'm strategic, right? Because You don't get to make colonel in the United States Air Force or Army as an African-American man very often, right? So I want the young brothers and the sisters to see, right, that I'm a colonel, right? And once they get beyond their first perception and see me walking around the gym slapping fives with everybody, then after a while they're going to get some courage. And now I can pour into their life. You understand? You not only have to get to where you're going to go, you got to be strategic on how you're dealing with those people you want to uplift. Yes. You understand? So for me, that is a part of who I am, right? Because I know they're scared when they see, the colonel. Right. But once they find out who I am and they know where I came from and what I've been through, now I can touch their lives. I have put 82 people through officer school.
Wow.
Wow.
So let's explain.
And all of those people.
Right. Yeah. They may not understand that here, Chaplain. You can tell them how that works, because that's a big deal. I was an officer in the Air Force. I went through a whole different process, but this is a very big deal. This is taking folks that came in to the Army, enlisted.
Yes.
And you've given them the means to go in and become an officer, which changed the trajectory of their lives as well, and the lives of those people that they care about.
Absolutely. You're changing generations, right? Because to become an officer, and at least in the Army, it's probably the same in the Air Force, but you need what's called a 110 GT score, right? And so a lot of us come in and we don't have the 110. Like I came in, it took me, I was 7 years enlisted. So I passed the test on the 5th time, right? I had to go to what is called B-step. It's a math class where you got to get your score. So I passed the test on the 5th time before I got the 110. So when I'm sitting soldiers down, I can tell them, hey, listen, I know you don't think you're smart enough. I know you don't think you're good enough. I know you doubt. I know you think the people on the other side of this wall are better than you. But let me tell you my story. Yeah. Let me tell you, it took me 5 times. Let me tell you, I was in special education, right? And so now they begin to build up in confidence. So those young African Americans, well, it was 2 Caucasian Americans, but those young African Americans, majority, all are now captains and majors, and some are lieutenant colonels, and then totally change the trajectory of their lives.
Yes, and all the people they care about. So I want people to hear that. He didn't say he passed it the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. He passed it the 5th time. Don't stop. Don't quit. You were at the precipice of your success. You were at that precipice. Don't stop before you reach it. Amazing story. Amazing story.
And let me interject here. Don't stop. Don't quit. So in that excrement that I was going through,
yes,
you got your boys, you got your girls who telling me, hey, you should just quit. Yes. It ain't for you.
Yes.
That ain't what God designed for you. Maybe you should just stay where you're at. You're asking for too much, right? Yes. There's a saying, brothers and sisters, you will never be an eagle hanging around chickens. So what I did was I separated myself from them chickens, and I went into the high school and got a 9th grader to tutor me in math. And I passed that test on the 5th time. And all those chickens, even today, tell me how courageous I am because now I'm an eagle.
So, hey, that eagle. So
wow.
Your first name, Khallid.
Yes.
Khallid. What's the definition of Khallid?
Khallid means immortal. Ones whose ideas live forever. Now you see the link there to those 82 people that I got to officer school and all the other people that I mentor. My idea of self-preservation, helping people, paying it forward, I chose that name because that name is going to live in those people and my children forever. That idea, not the name, that idea.
Yes.
Shabazz, I want you to hear this one, though.
I want to hear it. Speak.
It means an eagle that flies above all eagles. He flies alone.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I chose that name.
Yeah. Wow. Now that's a big deal. Once again, because we're talking about these 4 M's. So we've been discussing some of these. The chaplain's been talking about,
mindset,
the mindset,
methodology.
Right? We've been talking about that methodology right now. Putting those things into action. The mastery of that.
Right.
He went to school. He's still in school. He's getting mastery in various areas, which is taking him to money or it's taking him to his vision of success. And so that's the thing that has to happen here. He talked about the, being eagle. You can't be an eagle hanging around chickens. Big deal. You're going to have a lot of people telling you that idea, that business idea that you have, it's not going that it doesn't work. But guess what? Guess what? Sherman just told us here, the average millionaire has failed 7 times and most experienced bankruptcy twice before achieving their version of success. And so we're couching this in the area of religion because that's the faith that we all live in. We have a religious background, we have faith. But this is the same thing in your life, whether you're religious or not.
Yeah, that's right.
These principles are all the same principles that will lead you to your success, your vision and version of success.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, you know, there's a saying, if you're the smartest person in your group, you need to let them go and get a new group.
That's right.
Stick around people that will influence you, people that will uplift you and want to see you successful. Those are the ones, those are the eagles in their own right that you want to be associated with. Because, you know, anything less will pull you down because misery loves company. It really does.
Absolutely. So you talk about mindset. Take this one down. Until you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at will never change, right?
Absolutely.
You can have the same group, you can have the same environment, you can have the same everything, but you need to look at them with a fresh set of eyes, right? And when you see that those eyes don't line up with your eyes, then you have to move out. And so when I thought about eyes and looking at things different, I developed a personal philosophy. And here it is. It's called the 4 eyes. Interdict mediocrity, intercept ignorance, infuse excellence. And this is the most important one. Influenced by many, defined by none. I think most of us get into this thing where, oh, I like him and I like her, I'm going to be him. No, sir. No, ma'am. Influenced by many, defined by none. Take whatever you need from people's lives, but you got to be yourself. And I think that's exactly why we fail sometimes. We're trying to be carbon copies of other people. You have to be yourself, but you got to develop a personal philosophy and a mindset like you guys are talking about.
Definitely. And so you made a comment here a little bit ago on one of your messages about be bold, right? And so this is a big deal. Once again, as you look at, as everybody that's listening to this thing, you're talking about your personal success journey, right? It requires boldness. Meek doesn't make it. Meek don't make it. Meek don't make it. And so we got a 6'5", 275-pound Black Muslim chaplain in the U.S. It don't happen, folks. It don't happen. I spent 20 years in the military. A lot of our other team members have spent 20 years in the military. It does not happen. But here's one, right? Here's this example. Your example sits right there with you too. Your story will be told as well if you don't stop, don't quit. So, Chaplain, if you can do this for me. You talked about, well, we talked about that part here, but the mindset, how would you help somebody here? What would you suggest to them about how to push through the challenges that are ahead of them so they can reach their desired level of success?
Well, I got 1,000 sayings, but this is the most important. Most people die at 25, but they're not buried until they're 75. I'm going to say that again. Yeah. Most people die at 25, but they're not buried until they're 75 because they have bought into this false narrative of reality. Yeah. There's no reality but God. So when you think about who you are and where you want to go, you got to be bold. You got to be bodacious, and you got to stop. I hate this word, humble. That's an intractable word for me. Humility has nothing to do with excellence. Humility sometimes keep you in the closet. Let me tell you something when you're talking about being bold. So I have been scared all of my life to do everything because my environment taught me to be scared. My parents taught me to be scared. Everybody's talking about these limitations. So after I got this message, I need to believe in myself, I got out the military because I needed to go to seminary. But before I went to seminary, I needed to do something bold. I want you to hear this.
All right.
I was tired of people telling me what to do. I wanted to learn Arabic. So you know what I did? I cleaned out my savings. I got on a freaking airplane to Jordan. I didn't say Georgia. To Jordan.
Yeah.
I got off the airplane, can't speak the language, didn't know how to get where I was going. I found the first mosque and slept on the freaking floor for 2 years.
Whoa.
I had a wife and kids. But they say, oh, you can't go over there, them people gonna kill you. I say, damn it, I'm already dead.
Dang. Come on now, preach.
I'm walking around here like a zombie. I don't know who I am, where I'm going. I'm already dead. I need to do something bold and I did it, and it changed my life because I stopped being afraid. Yeah. The only person I need to be afraid of is God. So if it's out there, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
I'm going to do it.
Yes. Wow. That's such a big message. Be bold, folks. Be bold.
Yes.
I want this whole thing to be humble. So I'm a 5'10", 165-pound Black man. I've experienced some of what this chaplain has experienced because of his size as a Black man. So it's not about the size. He's 100 pounds more than me. It's not that. The same things that you are experiencing. If you are a person of color and you have people who are scared of you because of that, that's their problem. It's not yours. Be bold. Do the right thing. Yes. Do the right thing. And oh man, you cannot be stopped. You cannot be stopped if you do the right thing. Man, chap, I'm running out of room to write. I'm gonna go get some more paper, and I'm just gonna keep taking notes. And I hope that all of you, and I pray that all of you are taking notes also for this. And I'm gonna stop. Joanne, what you got?
I was just gonna say, as I listened to him, Chaplain, as I listened to you speak about, at 25, many people die, and 75 is when they're buried. I remember Earl Nightingale spoke about, if you find 100 people, okay, and you ask them about what their dreams are in their 20s, 100 people in their 20s, chances are they have big dreams, right? And then usually by the age of 40 years later, only one of that 100 have acquired success, while you have about 65 will be forced to rely on government programs, and 30 will have already died. You gave them an additional 10 years, but Earl Nightingale's given them 65 years of actually walking on the earth. And, you know, this is why it's so important, a positive self-talk, and it's so important to reach out for mentors, coaches, and to reach for what it is, whatever it is that you desire. As Chaplain so gracefully said, don't stop, don't quit, be bold. Whatever it is that you want, you have to go after it. And again, get people in your circle who will support you and help you to get to the next level, because success is achievable for each and every one of us. It's just a matter that it's disguised as work. You have to do the work. You have got to do the work.
Yeah, so that's absolutely. You know, I put on my videos a ridiculous work ethic, because you have to do the work. And second of all, a caveat on something what you said, sister. You know, those people who are in your circle, sometimes they're speaking to you out of their own limitations.
That's right.
So I don't listen to them, right? They're speaking to you out of their own limitations and what they think that they can't do, so you won't be able to achieve that. When I hear that, I automatically strategically start thinking about ways in which I need to do it. Ways, if 4 o'clock in the morning hadn't been working for me, I'm gonna get up at 3:30 because I need to create more time. Most of us, in all reality, waste 7 to 8 hours. So people always saying, well, how do you have time to get 2 doctors and 4 masters? I said, listen, you have to strategically do this thing. I said, I love sports, but discipline-wise, I won't watch but the 4th quarter. I'm going to use the other 3 quarters to work on myself. Why? Because those guys are millionaires. Their children's children will be millionaires. So what do I look like? Giving my time and my energy while they're making millions. So strategically, I cut myself off to the 4th quarter. And then for my friends, this is why my second I was intercept ignorance. When my friends say, hey, you know, that's never been done, I say, brother or sister, with all due respect, that has nothing to do with me. Intercept ignorance, right? If you're around sometimes in our dysfunctional environments, people say, you know, hey, listen, I just want, you know, if we go to these military schools, hey, I just want to graduate. Intercept ignorance. No, I want to be the top of the class. If I don't get there, it's okay. But I'm going to work hard to make sure I'm the top of the class. Why? Because in my DNA, this hurts, man. In my DNA, people were killed because they tried to read and be excellent. What right do I have to be mediocre? You understand?
Wow.
So you have to intercept that type of ignorance in your own life. And I know that's hard for us because we have friends and we don't want to hurt their feelings. And they're not being malice. They're just speaking to you out of their own limitations. And you got to intercept that ignorance.
So can you do us a favor? Can you say your 4 I's again for us, please?
Interdict mediocrity, intercept ignorance, infuse excellence, influenced by many, defined by none. Can I talk about that infuse excellence for a second?
By all means, by all means.
The excellence is not necessarily the societal standard, right? The excellence is infusing excellence is your excellence. So you can't compare yourself to other people. I told you I was in special education, expelled from school. So I have what you call ADHD. This is why it took me 5 times to pass the GT score. So my friends might get A's. My excellence is if I got to read the book 6 times and you got to read it 1, I can't be hating on you. I have a learning disability, but you better bet I'm going to pass that school. When I go out to speak, people say, oh, they're just amazed at all the master's degrees. None of those master's degrees are above 3.1. Think about that. Anybody who got a master's degree understands that you need a 3.0 to pass. But none of them are above 3.1 because I have a learning disability. But none of those degrees on that wall put your grade point average. They say Khallid Shabazz, right? Don't quit, don't stop. Because at the end of the day, you got to infuse excellence on what excellence is to you. Most people confuse excellence is with your brother or your sister sitting next to you.
Yes.
That's how you fail. That's how you quit. And that's how you give up.
That's right. We talk about that personal success journey. When we talk about these forums and this last one being money, we're not just talking about money. There's a lot of different ways with this whole thing. It's about the, like the chaplain said here, passing on the wisdom and the example of what he did to his children. That's money. That's money. That's wealth. That is wealth, generational wealth that he's created by doing that and making those changes that he did in his life. And it's the same thing. We can all do this, folks. We can do this. You know, we see you, he sees you, he loves you, we love you. You have to love yourself. And you have to say that to yourself every single day. The world will beat you down. No doubt about it. The world will beat you down.
Absolutely.
We can't let it. We have to love ourselves. Oh, hey,
that's right.
This is amazing. Right. This is amazing. So
that's right.
A question that we had, I'm sorry, Joanne, but we had a question. Are there any organizations that you're supporting right now that we can, tell people about here? Anything that you're doing right now, Chaplain?
Well, yeah, I just speak all over the country. I go to high schools, alternative schools, and things like that. I'm not necessarily into any organizations. I just lend my time, my freedom. I mean, they don't even have to pay me. I just go there and speak to them and mentor the kids.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Is there a different message that you would give to young ladies? I mean, you've spoken about what you say to the sisters, about the young ladies, college, high school young ladies. Is there a different message, or is it all the same message that you give?
No, the message for the sisters I spoke to at Jarvis Christian College, I always go to speak to all women, and I speak to all men, right? Because the message is different. The message of excellence is not different, but the message to my sisters is different. And the reason it's different is because a lot of sisters like to shrink themselves down. Right? They've been taught to shrink themselves down. And for me, I have 2 daughters, and I won't allow that foolishness for 1 second. You have to go out, as my grandmother and them used to say, you got to work twice as hard to get half as much.
Yes. Don't
tell me about what's fair. If you want fair, go to the fair. So let's not use that as an excuse. As a woman, you have to understand you're going to be dismissed, discredited, and disenfranchised everywhere you go. So what I need for you to do, sister, I need you to look inside yourself and take those feelings of insecurity and throw them out the window. I have a saying when I start off my speech to them, some of the strongest people in the morning cry themselves to sleep at night. You go cry at night. You go take all of your insecurities and put them in the pillow. But when you get out in front of people, I need you to be a queen.
Amen.
I need you to stand tall. I need you to adjust your crown because you were made to rule. I mean, that's just, you are a co-creator with God, right? If you don't understand that we couldn't even come into existence without you,
Amen.
then you need to find and check yourself. So you have no right to be bowing to anybody at any time, anywhere. You better find yourself and fix your crown. Yeah, it's a different message to the sisters.
Absolutely.
Very good. Excellent. Actually, I have a daughter too, and I didn't know it. I didn't grow up with sisters, and it was my mom. My mom's a tough woman. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. My mom is tough. Grew up in a household with a lot of men. I didn't really understand this whole thing until I had a daughter. I really did not understand this thing until I had a daughter. And yeah, it is. Everything that you're speaking there, man, is just so powerful and so true. So powerful.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, man, the guys are not going to like me for this, but, you know, this is scriptural. You know, guys, if they're not in the right mindset, we some of the slimiest creatures on earth.
Oh, yes. Oh, definitely.
Because we come in like the serpent in the garden. We sliding. We finding out what you like. We letting you talk. We not talking. We find out what you like so we can get a piece of heaven, right? Yeah. And so once we get a piece of heaven, then we descend back to hell because you have given up your most prized possession. So once you understand that about us, right? And I don't want to get too scriptural here, but the Quran says to the sister, don't speak too softly because men have a disease in their hearts. I'm going to say that again. Don't speak too softly, sister, because men have a disease in their heart. The disease is not yours.
Right.
It's theirs. Yeah. Because once you start batting your eyes or smiling, you might just try to be polite. He's thinking about something a whole different level. Yeah. So you got to come correct. You got to come and let him know you're a queen. Let me tell you a story. The reason why I'm married, because it was a time where my wife said, that's it, Joker. You don't deserve me. I got 2 kids to worry about. So why don't you take your drunk ASS on, right? And so she began to value herself. Yeah. And therefore, when she began to value herself, I started to value her. Yeah. Oh, I got to say that again. When she began to value herself, that's when I began to value her. And my big butt was in Alexandria, Louisiana. She was in Texas. She wouldn't answer my phone call. She said, my children are more important than you. You are inadequate and you're not a good father. I drove 4 hours and apologized to that woman. And I've been with her for the last 30 years. Amen. Because she found value in herself. Yeah. Because I won't value her.
But that's huge. That is huge. I'm sorry to cut you. That is huge. That whole thing about women finding value in themselves. And that's a big deal because of like you said, in society, society wants the women to be silent, be cute, be on the side, kind of do a supporting role. But we here in KSA, for instance, we have a bunch of women here who can run the show. You know, and we learn every single day from these women. We always joke about Joanne, for instance, right? So we got we got different personality types with us. And Joanne, we talk about Joanne she has a velvet hammer, right? Which is a gift. Joanne has a gift from God, right? Joanne will tell you what she needs to tell you and what you need to hear. But the way that she says it is such a way that you can take it without the way that sometimes how guys do it. It's just a different way that we communicate. A guy, you and I talking dude to dude, we'll say something, whatever the case. It's not the same way that women tend to communicate. And so that whole idea about women taking that forefront, yes, by all means, take that forefront, sister. You are blessed and highly favored. You can do it. You can do it. We know that you can.
And a woman is so powerful, right? This is not some cliche. Yes. The woman is so powerful. Right? I'm married 30 years. If my wife, after I take out that trash, she said, oh my God, you're so wonderful. I ain't never seen nobody take out the trash like you. I want to take out that trash every day. You understand? Because she has a way to speak and consoling your mind to make you think you bigger than you are.
Yes.
That's power.
That's right.
You understand? And once a woman realizes that she is that powerful, man, she not only can make a man, she can break him, but she can also get him to the highest heights of where he's supposed to be.
Absolutely. Wow.
I know, man. I'm all goosebumped right now. This is fantastic. I am overjoyed that we get the opportunity to meet you right now, and that everybody who has the opportunity to see this, that they get the opportunity to hear your story, to hear your. This isn't a rags to riches. This is bigger than that, man. This is generational. The story that the chaplain's been giving us right now. This is invaluable. This is priceless. The lessons that he's teaching us, because he hasn't said anything that we can't do. Can you get 2 PhDs? You can. You may not need 2 PhDs. You may not need to for whatever your personal success journey. It may not be required. But that lesson that you give, that legacy that you leave for your heirs or those people that you come in contact with is invaluable. You can touch thousands by the actions that you do today.
Yes.
Man. Let me hear you woo. Let me hear you woo 1 second here. Woo! There we go. I can't do it like you can. Woo! There we go.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Totally.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
I just think the perfect example of reshaping who we are. Like I like how you said the PhDs and the master's degrees. That was for my own healing of my own poor self-esteem. It wasn't about the degrees. It was the degrees of learning and healing myself. So I like how you said that. So, but mindset is more important. One of the things I did, you hear people talking about, what's not being done for our community, what's not being done for our boys. I took that quite personally. So when my son was 14, other communities have these rites of passages, right? I didn't need somebody to come in and do that for me. I got 4 of my friends, and all of us are in these fraternities and Masonic lodges. I took some of the rituals from those things, made it my own, and gave my son a rites of passage. 4 of my friends took him from youth, manhood to old age, right? After he finished that, they each gave him a gift. And then after they finished that, we brought him back to the house where his 2 grandfathers were. They spoke words of wisdom to him. My wife sung the Black National Anthem, and then we took him from where the boys were to the men were, and said, "You are now a man. Stand as a man." This kid looking at me like, what the hell is Dad doing? Now he's 28, and he said, "Dad, that was deep." So you planting seeds. They may not know what's going on, but every community has some type of rites of passage, but us. So my point to that is, stop waiting on people to do things for you. When you conceive the idea, if the people around you don't want to help you, find somebody that will help you. Because now he will pass on that ritual to his son. And I mean, his life has changed forever. He didn't get it for 14 years, but that's not my issue. My issue is you have to be bold enough. You have to have the mindset enough. You have to, most importantly, have the courage enough when all your chickens around you tell you, "Hey, man, we ain't got time for that. Let's go watch some football."
Yeah. Oh,
that's
man.
awesome.
That is awesome. The gears are working here. So we do have Sherman Riggins, our CEO for Kimbro Success Academy. I know that he's with an organization, From the Fire. Tell me if I said it wrong. From the Fire, Through the Fire, From the Fire. He'll put it in the notes. I'll get it right. And so I know that they do have a rites of passage thing that you're talking about there. I would ask again that if we can reach out to you again at some point for KSA, from the Fire, for any of these organizations, because and women's organizations and the separate coaching things that we're doing, we would love to have you again to be with us because this is invaluable. This is really invaluable. The lessons that you're putting out there, and this is just amazing.
Yeah, anytime I'm free. Seriously, it doesn't matter. If we can schedule it, I'll come to you. I mean, whatever we need to do, I'm yours.
Right. It's From the Fire Leadership Academy for young men, located up in New Jersey. And so that's where those guys are. And we definitely will be reaching out to you again. Can you tell us your social media? Did you have something, Joanne, that you wanted to say? Just about every question I was going to ask, he's already answered them in more ways than one. And I'm just like, I'm full. I'm really, really full. I so appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you,
so appreciate it. So if you can tell us what your, if you can just tell us what your social media or how people can reach out to you if you want them to reach out to you through us or reach out.
No, they can reach out. I'm open, transparent. I'm on TikTok. I think I'm Dr. K something on that, right. The GOAT or something. But Facebook, Khallid Shabazz, PhD. The Instagram, Team Shabazz, Team_Shabazz, and LinkedIn, of course, Colonel Khallid Shabazz. Twitter, definitely Dr. K. So I'm on all social media handles because I want to get this message out unapologetically about being intelligent and dignified and uplifting human beings. I think that's important.
Amen. So as you look at this thing, if you were affiliated, associated with an organization that you think would be a great partnership with you, KSA, Dr. Shabazz, as he, Dr., Chaplain, Colonel, Q is also a Q. So but any of that stuff, reach out to us. And so we'll give you some ways to reach out to KSA here. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But yeah, reach out to us. And if there's some partnerships that we can do for young men, for young women in our communities, with this goal of uplifting, just supporting our communities, supporting people of color, helping to give this mindset, working on those 4 M's, working on the 4 I's, with our community to help them achieve that greatness that's within them. By all means, reach out to us, and I'll be giving that to you here when we wrap up. Chaplain Shabazz, well, Joyanne, first, anything that you wanted to address here?
I just want to add to, for all those who are viewing either now or in the future, just know that as you can see, you're bearing witness right now to our focus on building generational wealth, of closing the wealth gap, because wealth, most people classify wealth as just a figure inside of their bank account. But what you're getting here right now, it is priceless. There's no price tag that you can put on what you just got for the last hour. So I want you to really think about that, really consider that, and really chew on all the amazing nuggets that you just received, because we are being intentional about your success.
Yes.
Chaplain, anything that you'd like to leave in closing?
I just like to leave you with 2 things. When you know your worth, you'll stop giving people discounts. Second, don't fear failure, but be terrified of regrets. That's all I have for you.
Okay, I need you to say. I need you to say those again. I need you to say those again, brother. I need you to say those one more time. My goodness.
When you know your worth, you'll stop giving people discounts. You'll stop letting people talk to you about your limitations. You'll stop letting people talk to you about your past failures. You'll stop letting people talk to you about your future, because only God holds that, right?
Amen.
And listen, stop fearing failure, but be terrified of regrets. Because at the end of the day, when you're laying there at 75 and they're getting ready to put the dirt on your face, you're going to look back over the last 50 years and say, I should have done that. And now you're regretting. So stop fearing that. Go for it, fall, dust yourself off, get up, fall again. That's why I tell the story. This is why I'm so transparent. This is why I talk about my failures more than I talk about my success, because the success is not as important as the journey of getting up from failure. So until you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at will never change. So stop fearing failure. Only fear your regrets, and stop giving people discounts. You know who you are in God. Go for it and get out of your own way.
You heard it from the man. You heard it, y'all. You heard it. So, hey, we give you a hand, everybody.
Yes.
Woo! By all means. Woo! There you go. Oh, we thank you so much for being with us. Thank you very much, Chaplain, Colonel, Doctor, Q. I don't know. I could probably just
well deserved.
Yeah, whatever it is, but I can just keep going with that stuff. We thank you for all the pearls you dropped at us today. And so for all of you there, you can reach us by phone at 323-Kimbro1. That's KIMBRO1, otherwise known as 323-546-2761. By email, you can get us on info@KimbroSuccessAcademy.com. KIMBROSUCCESS Academy.com. Or you can follow Kimbro Success Academy on any of the social media platforms. And you can just give us the opportunity to help pour into you to help you achieve your personal vision of success. Thank you again, Chaplain Shabazz, for your time. We hope to have another conversation with you in the near future.
drshabazz06@gmail.com. Thank you, guys.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.